You are now listening to the Conscious Creative Corner, the intersection of unapologetic lifestyle and creativity. Get ready to be inspired and dive into uncensored truths with tackling business and mental space with other transparent influencers and entrepreneurs. Let our conscious conversation normalize the chaos you may call life. Let's get consciously creative. Hi, I'm Cia E, your host, and I am super excited for today's episode. Success is a mindset. So typically when we are thinking about success, we think about the lavish things like the cars, having super fancy clothes, or that big old house or mansion, or even living like Beyonce. But seriously, success is all in a mindset. And I want to be a testimony to this by talking about my story. So me, Cia E, I am a creative at heart. And before being a creative, I like to think of myself as a down-to-earth person, someone that you can relate to. I started my journey in grad school doing therapy, and though it was something I was good at, I just didn't feel like it was my zone of expertise. I felt like, blah about it. So because this wasn't so creative enough, I thought it was time to go back and restore my passion being just creativity at its simplest form. Now, some people are able to say, hey, I love to do photography, or I love, videography or writing, or, anything that has to do with art, or art in its purest sense, even music, right? But for me, I just felt like I had to do everything. You know that saying, jack of all trades, but master of none. Sometimes I think of myself that way, but I'm learning to stop, right? Because again, success is a mindset. And when you're thinking that you aren't mastering anything, it's putting you in a box. It's not as loud as saying like, hey, I am an artist, or hey, I'm a lawyer. When you're saying you're not a master, it's basically telling yourself like you can't just do more than one thing. And lately I've been saying like, well, hey, I'm an abundant person. There are so many things that I can do that these gifts that God has endowed me with that I want to share with the world. So yeah, I can do photography. I certainly do that. Yeah, I do videography. Yeah, I'm a writer. And my block kind of came when people used to ask me like, oh, what is it that you do? And when I said I was a therapist, I just felt so unfulfilled, right? Because outside of being a therapist, I am a photographer. I create films. I direct. I do so many different things that contribute to my success. And just knowing that these people who are pretty much well-intentioned, right? But knowing that these people who kind of thought I was unsuccessful because I was all over the place made me feel little. I don't know how many of you guys out there are feeling the same way, or kind of can give me a, sister, I hear you, right? I don't know how many people can think that way or do think that way, but they somewhat lived in a fixed mindset. And if you guys don't know anything about mindset or growth versus fixed mindset, you can hop on over to my blog and read the article on growth mindset. During this time where I'm really struggling with trying to find out what success is, and especially being, I guess I'm not a millennial, am I? I'm not even sure. But being in that space where they're like, oh, you guys can't ever be dedicated to anything, I felt like I had to stick to this constructed box that basically told me like if I wasn't doing what everybody else said I was doing, I'm not being successful. But guess what? After doing some self-reflection and finding out that I am just more than one thing, I am more than a mother, I'm more than a wife, oh my gosh, I'm more than a therapist, it just was so freeing. All of a sudden I felt like someone kind of took the pillow off my face that I was screaming into, and I could breathe, because again, I felt like I found my success, and I'm continuously finding my success. And my success is in my creativity. My success is in my voice. And if anything, I want you guys to really understand this. It's that your success is not based on what anyone else wants for you or anyone else's path, right? Because it's a mindset, it's based on what you believe to be true about your future, It's the path that you want to set out for. So sure, maybe your mom or, family member wanted you to be a nurse, or maybe they wanted you to be the next president of the US, or the next prime minister of, your country. Maybe that's what they wanted for you, but just because you don't do it, it doesn't mean that you can't spell success the same way, or even a little bit differently if we're thinking outside the box, right? Don't let this become an anxious point for you. I don't want anyone to dictate at all, right, your path in life. Your voice and your thoughts are the only assets you need to be successful. Don't let anyone freeze it, okay? Don't let anyone become a bank to you, because you are the distributor of your success. So I say this to say, keep on pushing. Make sure that you are having these conscious conversations with yourself and understanding that your success is not limited to anyone else. So go be that creative person that I know you can be. Go do what you want to do. I'm not telling you to quit your job, but what I am saying is don't let anyone stifle your creativity, because that's all you have. And that's it for today. Hey creatives, thanks for listening to the Conscious Creative Corner. If you like the show, be sure to rate, subscribe, and review on Apple Podcasts. It helps other creatives find ways to listen to our uncensored truths. Be sure to check me out on Instagram to let me know how you enjoyed the show. You can find me at Nearly Sia or Achieve Her Perfection. And if you are a struggling creative that's trying to find their creative niche, don't forget that you can sign up for my creative content business tips in the show notes, or you can visit achieveherperfection.com. I'll talk to you guys soon.